Hello, hello. And today I've got the lovely Sarah with me, and Sarah is one of my 100-hour graduates through Meditation Masters. And I thought it's just really valuable for anybody who's interested in doing any kind of training with us, just to get some lived experience, hear from other people who've been through the process, and yeah, just find out a bit more about kind of somebody else's personal experience. It's all right, me telling everybody how wonderful it is and all of that, but it's really great to hear somebody's lived experience. So, yeah, Sarah, do you want to just do a little intro to kind of who you are and then we can dive in?
No problem. Yeah, I'm Sarah Smith. I own a company called Lightbulb.coach. And so I'm a coach, as it suggests. A coach educator, so I train people to be coaches too from the ICF, the International Coaching Federation. And I work with anyone over the age of 9. So I work with young people, I work with middle managers, early careers, right up to senior execs and CEOs, so the full spectrum. And I love Lego, so I use Lego in my sessions as well, virtual reality, insights discovery. So, needless to say, I do love a play tool, I have to say. So
Yeah,
that's me. So all your L&D needs, that's where I'm at, basically. But yeah,
amazing. And yeah, I think it's so incredible. Just, yeah, the reach and age of the people that you support. It's so fantastic. I think especially supporting young people as they're kind of navigating life to equip them with these kind of skills and ways of thinking differently as they
yeah,
approach life. So that is really, really
absolutely. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. And it drives people nuts who think I should have a niche because
Mm,
such a huge spectrum. So I like to say that people are my niche. I'm just
yeah.
going to leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great that you've actually said that because I get asked that a lot as well, from a marketing point of view. And I think like knowing, you obviously know the 10 people that you went through your teacher training program with. And if you were to try and say, okay, what's the niche there? What would it be? Women.
Yes, women, yeah, people, yeah,
People. Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting, isn't it? And I think it's good to be able to support lots of different people and have the
absolutely.
tools, lots of different tools. So obviously, you'd reached out to me via LinkedIn about doing teacher training, and yeah, I just want to know kind of what was going on for you at that time. What made you want to reach out and find out about it?
So I had maybe the previous year been on another course for coaching, and there was a huge element around meditation, but it was very much personal. It wasn't teaching us how to teach others to meditate. Really enjoyed it, really find the benefit. And it was actually one of the other cohort who I had spoken to about it. She said, "You need to go and speak to Susie. She's got a course coming up. I was thinking of doing it too. Do you fancy having a look at it?" And that's how it came around. It was just the stars kind of aligned, and I just thought, well, if I don't do it now, because I think did it start in June? So it was over the start of the summer, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it was just perfect time and things quieted down a little bit. So we got in touch, obviously liked what the course entailed, and you definitely put me at ease around what was going to be required. Because 100 hours sounds like loads. It sounds like, oh my God, how am I going to get
Yeah.
100 hours? But actually, it's really achievable. And so
Mhm.
that's how I came to it really. And for me, it was about incorporating meditation into coaching sessions or training sessions because it is so valuable to be able to quieten the noise, to really look inward and think at a deeper level. And for me to facilitate my clients to be able to do that was just going to be so beneficial. It was just going to add another layer to kind of self-awareness for my clients. So that's where I was coming from.
Yeah, I think it is. It's amazing that self-reflection and self-awareness piece, and it's so valuable in so many different industries. But yeah, in particular, coaching, it can be massively helpful to support your clients just to open up discussion more easily as well and just put them at ease.
Absolutely. And just find out what's really sitting at the core
Mm.
of their behaviors or self beliefs or limiting beliefs. And for young people who really suffer from that early kind of anxious feelings, I'm not going to say anxiety, but feelings of angst
Hmm.
around different areas of their lives, to be able to teach them how to meditate at such an early age, it just sets them up for life.
Yeah, it's incredible. Amazing. So you mentioned like a little bit of hesitation about the amount of hours. Did you have any other concerns? Because I know you are busy and you're a mom and you've got, your own business and all of those things. But yeah, did you have any other fears or hesitations around the program?
Probably like I didn't own a caftan,
Yeah.
so was I going to fit in, right? Caftans are not necessary, by the way.
Yeah.
And yeah, was I at the level? Because although I had been meditating myself and through that earlier course, it was very much a guided meditation. So for me, I thought I'm going to have to be able to sit for an hour
Mhm.
cross-legged and just not think of anything. So I had all these preconceived ideas that were not true, of course.
Yeah.
And thought, right, am I thought I was really going to be out of my comfort zone, but that was part of the attraction as well. It was to learn something different, learn something new. So it was only my limiting beliefs that was kind of stopping me, and this thought of 100 hours. But
Yeah.
like I say, that in reality was not an issue.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Yeah, I think that's one thing. I actually just commented on someone's Instagram post today about this preconceived ideas about meditation, and feel like it's my mission to kibosh all these preconceived ideas that prevent people
Yeah,
from meditating because they feel that it has to be a certain way, or you've got to look a certain way, or you've got to sound a certain way, or come from a certain background, or um,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with caftans, don't get me wrong.
yeah.
But you have this idea that you've got to be quite Zen-like already.
Hmm.
But that's not the purpose, is it? Right. So if you're quite Zen-like already and a spiritual person and someone who already meditates, you don't probably need the course as much.
Hmm.
Or you're already doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and the 100 hours is there to support people with that, to really embody the practices themselves. As you say, and that 100 hours is built up. It's not that you do have to sit for hours on end. It can be 5 minutes here, watching a documentary about meditation or listening to a podcast, just like really broadly experiencing it.
And I'm not much of a reader, so I much prefer to learn through video or podcasts, watching demonstrations, trying things out. And actually, I find myself reading a lot
Hmm.
because the topic was so interesting, and because you gave us such a variety of books to look at.
Yeah,
So I was dipping in and out of books. You don't have to read them cover to cover, which suits me fine.
yeah.
With podcast recommendations, videos to watch, guided meditations, there was demonstrations, there was extra sessions that, just really complemented the actual practice around, setting up your business, looking at imposter syndrome, things that barriers that get in our way. There were so many different varieties of ways to learn that and of course the practice, it just covered all the bases. So that 100 hours was a caker. Yeah,
Yeah.
easy peasy.
Amazing, amazing. I love that. And then, so kind of obviously, you have now completed the program and graduated. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So how would you say it's benefiting now that you've been through that process, or how are you using it in business, or
So for me, it really just gave a sense of comfort and confidence that I could facilitate a class or a community session or an individual session with my clients, whether that's integrated into the coaching session, maybe grounding them at the beginning or doing some kind of visualization in the middle or just letting them kind of sit and really tap into what's happening for them. Or it could be a session on self-care. It could be on the chakras. That's always really popular. Chakra healing. Um, Anything that really kind of comes up. I think imposter syndrome, which is a horrible expression anyway, always comes up in conversation.
mm,
So it means that I've got the confidence to say, right, well, I could deliver a session on that.
yeah, because
Whereas
you've done
before,
some corporate ones as well, haven't you? Like, yeah, that you
yeah,
did.
like lunch and learns,
Mhm.
I incorporate it into, so I deliver leadership programs. So I now incorporate into those and for my grads as well. And the young clients that I have, so giving them breathing exercises, for example. I have some corporate coaching and I offered mudras,
Mhm.
like just like anchors,
Yeah.
ways that people could physically feel like they were tuning into themselves and into the kind of the ground beneath them just to settle whatever was happening, whether it was nerves or feelings that were maybe even over excitement,
Yeah.
just to kind of like, it's not a remedial tool, it's about self-awareness. So,
Mhm.
yeah, great for lunch and learns and short sort of sessions in corporate settings. So we've got usually a well-being initiative, for example, but then there's only so many sessions you can do on, whether it's diet or exercise. It just
Mm.
gives something a little bit extra. So that's really encouraging. And certainly with the leaders that I coach, it's incredible now. There's a complete shift around self-awareness. I think you did something on LinkedIn, and I
Mhm.
commented on this kind of deeper awareness that leaders now look for to
Mhm.
understand themselves better so that they can self-regulate, self-soothe, they can really relate to their teams on a much deeper level. It's much more meaningful. So they're asking for it. They're asking for mindfulness or meditation tools or asking for a guided session.
Mhm.
So that's a real shift, I think, in the corporate space.
Yeah.
Maybe in the past people would have done it behind closed doors,
Hmm.
but now people are really open. If you say I meditate, people are like, yeah, yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
It's no longer like, oh,
It's
do
very,
you?
very mainstream, more mainstream now.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely mainstream, which is great.
Hmm. Yeah. Amazing. So yeah, I guess that's something I'm quite passionate about as well, is making it more mainstream because yeah, I started about over 30 years ago now. I've just had my birthday.
Yeah. Started when you're
Over 30
12.
years ago
Yeah.
now, and yeah, it was a completely different culture back then compared to what it is
Yeah,
now. So it's beautiful
definitely.
to see people using it of all
And what
ages.
was really helpful in the course, I think, was the fact that you gave us templates to use.
Mm,
So, for like advertising or talking about it, guided us to create sessions of our own. And that was great for, you see, an assessment, you think, oh no, an assessment, what's that? But honestly, really straightforward, but really practical. So the assessments that you created for us, where we had to design sessions and deliver them, I've used since. So
yeah,
you're basically creating the materials that you need to get you going in the first place, because that's always the sticking part, isn't it? Just doing one for the first time. So I thought
yeah.
that was really great to build confidence, to do things in a safe space, in practice, get the feedback, and then be able to adapt things and experiment and try things out. So that was really valuable because otherwise there might have been a bigger hesitation to go out and deliver it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I do think, speaking about this to someone the other day, that this is something that I have consciously added to this program to have that business set up so that I don't want people to do programs where they never use it again, right? There's no point doing that. So that's why there is a lot of practical stuff and the business side of things, because I want people to get that return on investment. I want people to have a sustainable business whereby they can keep sharing these things, for the next 30 years and beyond and have that impact. So yeah, it's great that you're using them and in that way. And for anybody that's kind of sitting on the fence or thinking about, maybe starting this journey into, it doesn't necessarily have to be teacher training, but doing some form of meditation training, what would advice would you give them?
I would encourage them to sit with what is drawing them towards the course or meditation. Something is telling them that that's what they need right now.
Mhm.
So paying attention to that. And for the course, don't let the length, it's not a long course, the 100 hours, don't let that put you off. And I think because you create such a comfortable space for everyone, it's really enjoyable, it's relaxed. So if anyone's thinking, oh, I don't, to go back to learning even
Yeah.
or doing something completely different, go for it because it's so enjoyable. It doesn't feel like a course. It feels like just a bit of time for you.
Mhm.
The classes are still focused on us. We're the ones meditating. You'll feel great at the end of it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would sit with what is it that's drawing you and what is it that's stopping you in reality, and is that a story you're telling yourself or is it actual reality? Because often they're not the same.
Yeah. Amazing. Spoken like a true coach, Sarah.
I should hope so.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you sharing that, and I will pop all your details below this video where I shared it. So if anybody does want to connect with Sarah and learn about everything that she has to offer, please do reach out to her. But yeah,
Yes, will
thank you
do.
so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.